welcome back to Comm Chronicles. So today, I am your host, Anisa, and I have two special guests with me, Monissa and Joshua. So today's episode, we're going to have a debate, and our topic is going to be tea versus coffee. Very interesting.
Okay, so just to start this off, I wanna say that I stand on the tea side for sure.
I think I'm
For sure.
such
What
a
about you,
coffee.
Joshua?
I'm such a coffee
I
drinker.
You're a
really.
coffee
Yes,
drinker?
yes, true and true.
Huh. Why?
Mm,
Why? Why
Uh,
is that? Why is
Why?
coffee seen as such a divine being compared to tea?
I think the main two things behind it is one is the culture, and two it's the energy boost that you get from coffee. For example, I
Mm-hmm.
could I could be running on 2 hours of sleep, have a cup of coffee, black, no sugar, no milk, and I'll be perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, sure, it's not healthy, it's not good for health, but when you're in desperate needs, it's called for desperate measures. And some people may
Okay.
be thinking like culture, like what's so great about the coffee culture? When you actually get into the specifics and like the nitty-gritties about coffee, where it's sourced from, how it's being poured and how it's being processed, it's a very, very interesting cycle. Like
Okay,
for
okay.
example, a good example about it would be tea. When you brew tea, you brew it with hot water, right? Same goes for coffee. But nowadays, there's a thing called cold press, where it's basically cold. It's in the fridge and it's being brewed in the fridge.
Right,
So it's
right.
it's it's a it's a very complex thing,
mm,
like it's a very big culture actually behind it.
But I guess the thing about cold pressed coffee, that's what you're saying, right?
Right? Yeah.
That thing is kept in the fridge, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm not someone who likes to consume food that has been stored for a very long time, or
True,
like even
true.
true,
drinks in this case. Yeah,
true.
I
But
don't know.
I've
Is
tried it.
can you really consider it healthy though? Then I don't know.
I've tried it,
Yeah, no,
and the flavors are totally different.
Okay, okay,
It's more
really.
yeah.
richer, yeah. So it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's something that it's a small group of people, but they like it lah. They want that extra kick.
Hmm.
I
Okay,
feel
okay.
like
What about you, Anisa?
for me, I like tea. And I think you can get as much as health benefit with tea as like coffee. I mean, especially if you're feeling have insomnia, coffee can't do that. Tea can,
Yeah.
depending on what type of tea you're drinking. Tea can
Yeah.
help with sleep more than coffee. Coffee sometimes makes you stay awake, but when sometimes not in the good kind of way, it makes you very droopy kind of wakey. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion.
I think more than anything, about being awake or not, I feel like tea really helps you calm down, which I feel
Mm.
like personally as someone who drinks both coffee and tea, but I prefer tea over coffee. I feel like when I drink coffee, if I'm like anxious or like I'm about to like go into a presentation, this is like a personal experience, but like when I drink coffee, I feel so anxious. Like I feel like my anxiety has doubled. But in that case, if I drink like tea, any sort of tea actually, I feel like it just calms it and eases my mood, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Do you guys feel this way?
I
Like
don't
Joshua, do you feel that way? Like
I don't
do you
think
feel
it's
more
just you.
anxious when you drink coffee?
No, I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
just you. I think it's actually a chemistry thing. It's the
Mm.
Mm.
chemicals that are present in coffee and the chemicals that are
Mm.
present in
So,
tea. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think tea has a lot of serotonin that makes you feel
Mm.
mm,
calmer,
That's right.
puts you to
yeah,
sleep, whereas coffee has caffeine. So what caffeine does
true.
is it makes your heart pump extra, and when that
Mm-hmm.
happens, you've got more blood in your system. You'll feel more awake. But for some people, when that happens, it triggers a lot of anxiousness, a lot of psychological things lah, that it
Mm,
triggers. But it's not to say that it's a placebo effect. Oh, just because I'm drinking coffee, I feel this way. No, it's an actual chemical reaction
Right.
happening in your body. Yeah. So it all
mm,
depends on
Okay.
how your body handles it.
interesting.
Well, since we're talking about both coffee and tea, I
Mm,
know, I know that, there's green tea, but I wonder where matcha falls because yes, like in the essence of it, matcha is from green, like it's from like leaves,
Green tea.
but also like the way that it's made and the way that it's like kind of promoted, I feel like it
Mhm.
falls very close to the category of coffee. Don't you
Yeah,
guys think so?
yeah, definitely.
I think it
Yeah.
depends how you make it. Because some matcha, people will put
Mm.
coffee. Some of it they will put milk. You know. So I think it really depends on how you make the matcha, the green tea, the matcha.
Correct.
So it can, I think, it falls in between depending whether or not that is coffee. If that's coffee, then it would be considered to be a coffee drink. If there's no coffee, then it would consider to be a tea drink. So I think it's
Mm.
very in between kind of thing. You know, it's a drink that can be both,
Yeah.
That's
in my
true. And do
opinion.
you know that matcha actually works better than coffee for a lot of people? Like those who do drink
Oh, really?
matcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's done in a survey that matcha is actually way more better than coffee when it comes to sleep.
I see.
Really. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it helps improve their sleep quality. In other cases where coffee, I guess coffee helps you in the moment, but people have realized that overall there's a progress in like how much they sleep every day when they consume matcha. So it's like a very slow, long process, I guess, with matcha. But with
Mm.
coffee, I guess it's instant. I guess
It's
that's
a
why,
spike. Yeah,
people
yeah.
still, yeah. But still, I
Interesting.
guess matcha is really like an in between,
Mm.
for
I
me
think
at
it's I
least.
think it's the perfect solution for people who can't uh,
True.
consume coffee and the body doesn't
Mm-hmm.
accept it
I
very well.
agree.
I think it's a very
Yep,
good
I agree.
alternative compared to drinking like
Mm,
something like a caffeinated drink like Monster
Yeah.
or Red Bull. You know,
Yep. Yep.
this would be a
that's
perfect
true.
True.
perfect.
True. Also, like matcha is a very popular drink right now, especially in Malaysia. Because if you see, like a lot of people would promote matcha, green latte. I think they have one like a team for matcha, and a lot of people really enjoy green tea latte now.
Yeah,
Matcha,
yeah.
they like to mix it
Hmm.
up in cakes, drinks, anything else, yada
It's
yada.
become
It
like a flavor,
correct,
actually.
correct.
True.
The same way coffee
Yeah, it
became a
has.
flavor. I think matcha
Yeah,
is it's
Yeah.
reaching its point of becoming like a
True.
proper flavor profile.
I think it's slowly
that's so
becoming
true.
like a Malaysian favorite kind
Yeah,
of
Uh-huh.
drink
yeah.
because it's so popular here in Malaysia.
But I think I have to maybe
Matcha.
correct you on that, lah, Anisa. I think it's more like an
Mm,
Asian thing at this point because
mm,
I recently went to Singapore
mhm.
and
Mm.
it's the same thing over there. They're crazy over matcha.
Oh.
Every other bakery
Really?
has something to do with matcha. Every
Mhm,
other tea house probably has like one or two drinks with matcha inside. So it's a
mhm,
I would say maybe it's an Asian thing, maybe even a
Mm-hmm.
global thing, but I'm not sure about the rest of the world.
mm,
But it's definitely an Asian thing, lah.
mm.
Yeah.
It
So,
has
Mon,
to
you
be.
were
I
saying?
mean, it does derive from Asian countries,
Right.
the tea leaves itself. But okay, what I'm more interested here is that the I feel like coffee or even matcha per se has become like a very rebranding of an expensive lifestyle.
Mm,
Yes,
Like,
yes.
if you're carrying a
yeah.
cup of coffee, it's seen as like a luxury almost to
Mm,
me. Or,
Correct.
mm,
especially with the prices of coffee, like some coffees are so expensive. Whereas I
mm,
feel like tea is a more affordable solution,
Correct.
you know,
But it's
for a
getting
drink for sure.
towards there, I think. I believe it's getting towards there.
mm,
It's
yeah.
tea
Mm-hmm.
is becoming the next hyped coffee.
Mm,
You've got all the
yeah.
designer coffees and all that, right? I think
Yeah.
tea, especially matcha and all your uh, special special brew teas and all that, they're becoming
Mm-hmm.
more like the classy conventional coffee brands. For example, like TWG. Like 10 years ago, you ask or 15 years ago, you ask anyone what is TWG, they probably will have no idea. And now it's like
Mm-hmm.
the most posh tea you can ever buy. One box
Mm-hmm.
is like what, 150, 200 ringgit
That is true.
for what, 12 sachets? That's crazy.
That is true.
True.
Well, I guess I don't know, guys. Even after all this sort of debatable argument, I guess I'm still on tea side. Like, I don't know. I guess
Interesting.
at the end of the day, it's really just how it tastes in my
Correct.
mouth. You know, I
Correct.
like
Yeah.
that. I like that unsweetened like tea flavor
The
more
herb,
than coffee. And I
the
know some
herbal
people like
taste.
that bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the herbal taste.
I think
I
it's
I
Yeah.
everyone's cup of tea lah, basically. Whichever you like, whichever you
Isn't that
prefer.
funny?
Yeah.
no pun intended.
No pun intended.
I thought
But yeah.
this is like a very our most tame debate that we have actually.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
is like the very calm, very calming, which is like aligned with our discussion, which is
I agree.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, it's just, whatever that is your cup of tea. And with that said, thank you for tuning in to Comm Chronicles, everyone. And we hope that this episode sparked a conversation between you and your friends, whether or not you like coffee or you like tea. And we hope you all learned something new about each other, definitely. So please don't fight over coffee and tea, guys. Do not fight. Do not fight, okay? All right. That's all for this week's episode. See you next week.